You're right, Luca. You watching that link, mate? It's crazy. Going to talk about it. How you doing, Bandit? We're going to talk boxing. Last night was good, I enjoyed it. My face is scarlet, guys. I've been out all day on a roof, getting blasted by the weather. And then I was doing a wee bit of training there. There's a link. I shared it in my Facebook. I'm going to share it in my community page for the boxing fans. You sleepy, Susan? Get your bed. It's a Chris Eubank interview. Unfortunately, it's with Jim White, the Scottish football pundit, who I cannot stand. I don't think he's got any right talking to anybody about boxing, especially when he can't really remain impartial with football. But when he's talking to Chris Eubank Sr. about his son, considering the predicament that the Eubanks are in just now, he's the wrong guy for the job. I really, really don't like him, but I want to share the link, and if he's a fan, you need to watch it. Chris Eubank Sr. is incredible. He's an incredibly articulate speaker. Grammatically, he's as good as you'll ever hear anyone speak. The guy swallowed a thesaurus. He's just a phenomenal. He's a phenomenal speaker, and he's super interesting. I'm a massive fan. He's not everybody's cup of tea, I get that, but this is a really passionate speech. He says that the powers that be were basically trying to murder his son. Now, Jim White says that's a bit strong, and Chris Eubank says, well, no, it's not strong. He says that was me being polite, and Evening Frankie. And basically, it was a hard listen, by the way, guys. I literally had a tear in my throat was tightening up. Chris Eubank lost his son last year. I don't know if you know, his son Sebastian drowned in Dubai. Tragic accident. Lost his son Seb. Broken hearted. He's got a son left. He's got Christopher Jr. left. And the fight was agreed at £3 below the middleweight limit. The middleweight limit is where Chris fought, and then it's super middle. It's £160 for those that don't know. Christopher Jr. is 33 years of age. So he was last at 157, 156 and a bit. Down at light middleweight almost, when he was 18 years of age. Okay? Yeah, Bandit, I think there was something going on with his other son's death. There's an inquest going on. But I don't want to talk about that now. So, that's my wee battery thing just died. You'll need to bear with me, guys. It's going to be a bit dark. So basically, I think I've got a wee cable here. Give me a sec, please. And I'll get a wee battery pack going. So basically, what's happening is they were going to fight at 160, okay? So, 2 secs, guys, just to plug this in. Sorry, I'm making a bit of an arse of it. There it goes in there, I think. That's better. Yeah, that's better. Right, guys, we're back in business. So, he had to strip down to this agreed limit to fight Conor Benn, because Conor was coming up £10. Going up is a lot safer than coming down, especially for a 33-year-old man. Now, Chris Eubank wanted nothing to do with the fight from day one. They offered him a massive amount of money. Evening, Migsy. They offered Eubank Sr. a massive amount of money to do his corner. You know why? It sells tickets. Massive show. Ben Eubank, in the 90s. This is what made me fall in love with boxing, seeing these guys. Massive legacy. And they're trying to recreate it because it makes millions of pounds, okay? It is business at the end of the day. but it should never be business at the expense of someone's health. Chris Eubank Jr. obviously wants to seal his legacy. He wants to follow in his father's footstep. Eubank and Benz, their names are synonymous with one another. They always will be. They made each other. And I can understand why he wants to fight, but the weight limit is a major problem for a 33-year-old guy. He's literally took himself down to his absolute skeletal. Now, he's saying that he's fine at that weight, but his dad's terrified at losing another son. He's lost his son, his child. You can understand his depth of passion. Okay, the guy's terrified that his son ends up a paraplegic in a wheelchair with a brain injury. Christopher Senior, you know, fought Michael Watson, and look at how Michael Watson's life went. He lives with that every day. We all know what happened there. It happened with Nigel Benn, with Gerald McClelland. It happened with Christopher Jr., with Nick Blackwell. You know, boxing injuries are serious things. They're not to be taken lightly. They're life-changing forever. So it can't just be about money. So his passion is just now, people are saying he's having a mental breakdown. He's not having a mental breakdown. He's trying to defend his son's life. It's ridiculous. And my respect for him has just gone through the roof. Absolutely. My admiration for Eubank Senior lately has gone off the charts, because he's going head to head with the big dogs. And see, when he says he's coming for you, believe me, he's coming for you, because that is a man that fears nobody alive. He's going to go head to head with all of these guys. He's got a, 30-year relationship with Barry Hearn. And Eddie should know better than to underestimate a Eubank. Believe me, he should. So it's just, it's crazy. It's no longer about the fighting, about the boxing and about the doping scandal. It's went massive, much more bigger. Chris Eubank is looking to make changes. He's looking to go to the Boxing Board of Control and basically have things really, really revamped. And he's got every right to do that. He loves the sport and he loves his son. And never a better time than the present to make critical changes to safety. Boxers are ripping themselves down to shreds, right? And then there's rehydration clauses. The brain needs to be hydrated to be protected. If you're going in there and you're at 40% hydration, it's like putting marbles inside a Pringles tube and shaking it. That's what your brain's doing inside your head. The outcome's going to be bad. It's not going to be good. And Chris Eubank Jr. has got massive pride. He's a warrior at the end of the day. He believes he's going to be okay, but his dad doesn't want the risk. And I totally get it. So he's boycotted the fight. The fight's now not happening. There's a good chance the fight will now never happen. And maybe that's for the best, because ultimately their two sons have just been born and they're just different weights. It's just unavoidable. They're just different weights. That's just the way it is. They're not both natural walkabout middleweights. So it's crazy, that interview. Guys, watch that interview and listen to Chris Eubank Senior. He's a incredible human being. I know that he rubs people up with his acting and his Monaco and all this stuff, but that's show. He's a showman at the end of the day. But as a father, he's an exceptional human being, and he gets my respect. What a guy, honest to God, man. I had a lump in my throat listening to him. It was a hard listen. I'm going to watch it again because, like I said, I think I said it last night, enjoy him while he's here, because see, when he's gone forever and the show's over with Chris Eubank Senior. The guy's incredible. What a man. And he's taking the bull by the horns, and he's going to protect fighters. He wants to protect fighters. What about that is not to like? If you're a boxing fan, that is the very guy you want in your corner. That's the very guy you want at the table with you, because he's got your best interests at heart. He's not a charlatan. He's not out for the dollar. He's out to protect his man. And that is what a father should do for his son, and it's what a coach should do for his fighter. Protect his man before anything. There you go, guys. So that's that. I'll share the link in my community page. Give it a watch. It's incredible. Right, we'll put that one to bed for the time being. I'll go back to that later because I love that stuff, but I need to watch it again. It was an astonishing interview. So guys, this weekend, massive for female boxing. We've Katie Taylor, you know, she's put it up on the map. We've got Savannah Marshall from down Sunderland way, and we've got Clarissa Shields. They're fighting. Everything's on the table. Wow, what a fight it's going to be. It was scheduled for a couple of weeks ago. The Queen Elizabeth passed away and they rescheduled the fight. Peter Fury is Savannah Marshall's trainer. I love Peter Fury, fantastic trainer. I really like Savannah Marshall. She's quite a shy, kind of unassuming girl. Clarissa Shields is a lot more bullish. She's like the female Floyd Mayweather. She's considered the greatest female boxer on the planet, and rightly so. She's a 4-division world champion, multiple weights, undisputed and unified, WBC, IBF, WBO and Ring Magazine. I think she had the four belts at one point. She's an Olympic gold medalist. She's a world championship gold medal winner as well, and she won the Pan Americans. She won gold at the Pan Americans, which takes a lot of doing. That's all the Latin fighters and stuff. So, you know, I think she's the only woman in history to hold the WBA, the WBC, the IBF, the WBO titles in 2 weight classes all at the same time. That's phenomenal. So, yeah, she is. She's the only woman ever in history that's done that in two weight classes, light middleweight and middleweight, I believe, or middle and super middle it might have been, at the same time. That's pretty astonishing. So she's a verified, legit, elite level female fighter. She is the best in the world. Savannah's got her work cut out, but Peter Fury truly believes in his girl. So Savannah is a Commonwealth gold champion, and I think for the past couple of years she's basically had the WBO middleweight title. So she is a world champion in her own right. She's had bronze. I think she had bronze at the not the Olympics, was it? The Commonwealth Games. She's won gold at the Commonwealth Games. I think she might have had a bronze at one of the Olympics. I think she maybe had bronze. But interestingly, Savannah and Clarissa have both fought 12 times. They've both won 12 times. And each of them don't have many. It's only a couple of knockouts per record. So they're both 12 apiece. Everything to play for. And this is what will propel Savannah Marshall to the big time and the big paydays and the big money, selling out arenas and stuff like that. So that's going to be a massive fight for women's boxing. Really, really going to be an awesome fight. I can't wait to see it. I obviously hope Savannah wins. She's a British girl, you know. And good luck to both of them. I do like Clarissa Shields. She's an absolute tough nut. You know, she's a proper fighter. She really, really brings it. She was a mixed martial artist at one point as well. So that's an interesting fight, guys. Give it a watch. Now, if you're a boxing fan, you know who else is fighting at the weekend. Devin Haney and George Kambosos Jr. So, what's to be said about that? Kambosos had all the belts, unified the division, and Devin Haney beat him, you know, what, 4 months ago or something. Went to Australia and beat him. And Devin Haney has now returned to Australia to give George Kambosos Jr. an opportunity to win the titles back. And that says an awful lot about Devin Haney's confidence in himself. I'll be honest with you guys, Devin Haney's got the best jab in boxing just now. And he's a young guy. He's only 22 or 23 years old or something. I'll say it now, and you can mark my words, you boxing fans, right? Devin Haney is a modern day cross between Sugar Ray Leonard and Floyd Mayweather, with a little bit of somebody else in there, another super fighter, possibly Pernell Whitaker, something like that. He's just got some magic about him. Stig's saying Tank knocks Haney out. Let's not talk about Tank just yet. Tank's coming into the chat later. Devin Haney, I think he's going to be a superstar. He's a very defensive fighter. He's technically as close to perfect as you'll get. Doesn't take punishment, doesn't take damage. And I haven't really seen him put under pressure yet. He's a phenomenal fighter. I don't think Kambosos beats him. I don't think he does. And I love Kambosos. He's a brilliant fighter. I just don't think he beats him. So there you go. Devin Haney and George Kambosos Jr. Watch it. What a fight it's going to be. There's a lot of great boxing on this weekend, guys. There's some fantastic fights on. If you love boxing, there's loads of fights in the undercards. There's some great women's boxing on. All, you know, some of the best fighters in the world are on this weekend. I can't wait to see a couple of them. So I'm taking Savannah Marshall. Possibly, I don't know about a stoppage. And I also don't know about unanimous, maybe in a split decision, I think. You know, it's a hard one to call, it really is. I'm taking Devin Haney for the win. Unanimous over George Kambosos. I don't think George could have learnt enough in 4 months and upped his game enough. And also Devin Haney's just getting better as well. Stig mentioned Tank, Gervonta Tank Davis. Just a powerhouse. He's a mini Mike Tyson. They will fight. He's just agreed a fight today with Ryan Garcia. Couple of the fastest hands in boxing Ryan Garcia's got. He's got power as well. Really handsome young guy, you know. He's like a cross between a young Joe Calzaghe and a young Oscar De La Hoya. He's got all the looks, he's got the body, the gift. And him and Tank have agreed to fight. So that's going to be a hell of a fight. And the winner of that will probably get Haney. So boxing's just getting better all the time though. The lighter divisions are absolutely stacked. They're stacked with talent. So if you're a boxing fan, the next couple of years is going to be fantastic. I think Gervonta Tank Davis is a handful for anybody. But he would really have to fight in the inside with Devin Haney and get close. And I know his uppercuts are killers and his body shots are killers. But they might not make the fight with Devin Haney. They might struggle to make the fight because the promotions are all, you know, there's a lot of politics with these divisions and they try and protect their man and protect their cash cow effectively. And they sometimes leave it too late so that the best of these guys is gone. You know, and they might fight down the line when it's not just as appealing, or they're no longer undefeated. They've maybe lost a couple, and the appeal kind of dies. But who knows? Anyway, it's going to be a belter. So that's the boxing this weekend's. If you're a boxing fan, get the popcorn ready, get the slippers on. Yeah, my mate Brad's asking about Johnny Tapia. My mate Scott Harrison fought Johnny Tapia. Johnny's deceased now. He was a great fighter, tough as they come. Yeah, Scott Harrison fought him. Some guy, some life. He had a crazy life, Johnny Tapia. So, boxing. All you're going to hear all weekend from me is boxing. So if you don't like it, don't tune into me. Because I'm a mad boxing fan, as you know. I'm sure you're getting the picture. But I'll share the link for Chris Eubank. Give it a watch and we'll catch up. I'm kind of getting beaten the weather just now with finishing this wee job I'm doing. So I'm going to be away early in the morning and I'll be hammering it all day. So I might not catch up tomorrow because I need to get it done. to free up some time and get into the hills with a tent and a sleeping bag. Well, it's been a interesting day for me. While I'm working, I had my phone in my pouch with YouTube on, listening to these interviews and stuff. And Eddie Hearn, you've went right down in my estimations. He's hiding from Eubank Senior, hiding from the truth, hiding from reality. And sometimes when you're under the most pressure in your life, it's when your true character comes out and you give the best account of yourself, when there's nowhere else to turn and you have to face the music. And that's when your true colours show. And some people, their colours don't run, and others they do. So we're seeing the real depth of these people just now. And Eubank Senior's not going anywhere. He will not be moved. He's going to be heard. He is going to be heard regardless of the outcome, regardless of anything. He's not affiliated to any platform. No one's paying his wages. He's going to say what he needs to say. And I absolutely know that he'll be heard. He will not be denied. He will not be denied at all, guys. So things are going to get interesting. And thankfully not at the, thankfully nothing happened to his son, because that would just be horrific. We don't want to go down that road again. These guys like Eubank Senior and Ben still live with the aftermath of McClelland and Watson. These guys are in wheelchairs still. Gerald McClelland can't speak. Michael Watson made a partial recovery, but he's still dependent on wheelchair and full-time care. And he had to learn to speak again. It took him like 10 years or something. Horrific, absolutely horrific. But that's the sport. That's probably why we love it so much. It's a very, very dangerous sport. So you've got to respect the guys that step through those ropes. Well, we've covered a few things tonight with the fighting and stuff, so that's where I'm at with it, guys. I'm really looking forward to it. I'll tell you another wee thing. All the best, Bandit. Cheers, mate. Enjoy your weekend. I was watching a Shaquille O'Neal video, big basketball player Shaq. He's a great big guy, and it was an interesting story. Shaq, when he chucked the basketball and stuff, he was looking for things to do, and he was at a business meeting, and some guys he thought were underestimating him, and they kept looking at his accountant and his financial guy, and they kept looking at them every time they asked a question. And Shaq said, "What are you looking at them for? It's me that you're doing the deal with. What do you think I don't know the lingo?" But basically, they had letters after their names, so he thought that they were, underestimating him. And he's not a guy to underestimate. So Shaq decided to contact a university, and he said, "I want to do a master's degree." So they put him onto this online, open university thing. I was doing one as well, and they put him onto that, and he went, no, I don't want to do it like that. I want to do it in a classroom. I want somebody to teach me. He says, because I think that the other one's viewed slightly lesser. Sometimes people make comments about Open University, but you can't cheat it. So anyway, so Shaq said, no, that's not good enough. But the university responded to him and they said, well, we can't just put a classroom on for one person. We need 15 people for a classroom in order to run the master's course. Shaq went, leave it with me. So he went away and spoke to 15 of his mates. And he went through them all until he got 15 of his good mates that wanted to do a master's degree. And Shaq paid for all 15 of his mates to go through this 2-year master's degree thing. And whatever it was, they chose accountancy or whatever it was, business management, whatever. And he got all 15 of his mates a master's degree and paid for them all. It's a lot of money in America to go private. And he did it. And now he chairs all his own administration, his meetings and everything. And he's got his letters after his name and stuff. And, he didn't think he needed them before, but that just irked him enough that he went and did it. And it's quite interesting because he wouldn't be denied. He's got this drive. Of course, he was elite, and he's one of the richest men in sport as a result of that. But these guys, I like listening to them because they've got that elite level drive. They've got that elite level dedication. They've got that elite level self-belief. They're all master qualities, and they're all in the 1%, Not everybody has these things. You just can't fake these things. So that was a good story with Shaq. I quite liked it. It was an interesting one, the way he tells it. He's a great storyteller. He's great to listen to. Don't know if he's following or anything, but look him up. He's an interesting guy. He's always doing stuff for people. He walked into a shop and he saw two wee guys viewing iPads or something, and they were playing with them, and he went over and bought them one each and stuff like that, because he's like, the money, he's like, I've got more money than I could ever spend in 50 lifetimes. So he's always doing something like that. He's just one of the kind of decent guys, brilliant. Give me more Shaq O'Neals in the world. Anyway, so that was interesting. I liked it. I liked what he done for his mates, and I liked the fact that he wouldn't be denied. That's a great quality, guys. See if you will not be denied. You'll hear you see all these sayings and quotes. I'm not really a fan of sharing quotes, but sometimes you can't help but read one because they pop up so often. They're kind of done to death. But an odd one stands out, and there's a voiceover thing on Instagram, and the guy's got one of these nice soothing voices, and he says, like, I think it's, if you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. And if you can't crawl, basically just find a way to go over that line, throw yourself over it, roll if you need to, just do whatever you've got to do. It's like whatever it takes. It's whatever it takes, but not just in the upper spectrum of success, I'm not talking about making us all world champions here. I'm talking about getting out your bed in the morning an hour earlier. I'm talking about getting dressed some days as a world championship fight for some people. And sometimes you've just got to do whatever it takes to get up and get dressed. And that can be a massive fight for some people. It can be an absolutely massive, massive achievement for some people who are really struggling just to get dressed in the morning. And if that's you, then know that you're not the only person in that fight. You walk by 100 people a day in the street, and 99 of those people could have the same fight as you. And the last one out of the 100 could have an even worse fight. Everybody's got something going on. Everybody's got something going on. So don't judge people. Don't judge. It takes you a long time sometimes in life to catch up with yourself and have time to actually think. And we've all been guilty in the past of being judgmental. Everybody has. It's just life. It's not a flaw. It's just something that you go through. It's just an error on your part. And basically, somebody asked me there if I had read David Goggins. I've never ever read any of his stuff. I haven't, sorry. It's just a case of, where do you want to be tomorrow? So I used to set my stall out, and I would aspire and aim high and give myself mammoth tasks. And over time, some you win, some you lose. But basically, what I try and do now is the little marginal gains. I try and get a little improvement instead of one massive improvement. Instead of saying, right, I need to lose 20 pounds by Christmas. That's a massive undertaking to do it correctly and safely. So I try and do little marginal gains. An extra 10 press-ups, this, that, a little improvement, improve myself, improve my health, cut some crap out somewhere, improve my you know, my knowledge, my general knowledge of something that interests me. Maybe read a book that I've been putting off for a couple of years. You know, no time like the present to get things done, guys. Time moves so quick. Marginal gains, small improvements across the board. You know, small improvements, a couple of pounds here, a couple of pounds there, an inch here, an inch there. Just wee bits and keep chipping away. And all of a sudden you'll have made improvements in 4 or 5 smaller areas. But in the bigger scheme of things, you will have made a massive improvement. But you've done it 5 different ways. And the smaller bits of the smaller 5 off the spectrum were much easier achieved than one massive piece of the jigsaw. Do you get me? So maybe we are all guilty of setting the bar too high for one thing. So just cut it down a little bit and say, well, I'm not going to kill myself for that, but I'm just going to chip away at it and move towards it. I don't need to maybe get there today, but I might get there tomorrow. And if I don't quite get there tomorrow, I might get there by the end of the week. You know what I'm saying, guys? Small marginal gains, little and often, and just chip away at it. And you'll scale the mountain. You'll scale the ladder, rung by rung by rung. Remember? Brick by brick. That's it. Just keep chipping away. That's all you have to do. Remember in the film Shawshank Redemption, Shawshank everyone calls it, he just kept chipping away, didn't he? And it took him 10 years to dig the tunnel. But he just kept chipping away because he had 10 years. He had no choice but to keep chipping away because he had time. Chip, 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 chip. And eventually, out he went. A lot to be learned from that. And if you're following some of these gurus and stuff, and they're incredibly successful, remember that they've got massive teams behind them, managing their social media and managing their success. And there's a lot more to success than meets the eye these days. A lot of these people are false gurus. They have enormous platforms, and a lot of those platforms have been fabricated by finances and sponsors. And sometimes it can be unhealthy to follow these superstar gurus because inadvertently they make 98% of the population feel terrible, because literally they can make you feel like an underachiever. Because when you keep looking at someone's success, you can start to say to yourself, where am I going wrong? But you're actually not going wrong. You just don't have a massive team managing you, and you don't have endless sponsors, you know, promoting you and building your platform for you, and round the clock help, and people airbrushing you and helping you out and filtering your life to make it look incredible. Don't be too harsh on yourselves, guys. Don't do it. Being harsh on yourself continually is the root of all evil. You'll drag yourself into the mire. And I know that for a fact because I did it most of my life, and no longer do I do it. No longer do I do it. I just don't. Took me a long time to get here, but I was my own worst critic, and I was seriously critical of every aspect of my life, harsh on myself constantly. And there are still some things that I will always have guilt for, and I will always harm myself for, you know, in here. But I accept them for what they are, and I live with them. But the other things in my life that I just can't go back and turn the clock back and fix, there is nothing that can be done other than make sure they don't happen again. So that's where I'm at. Stop being so harsh on yourselves, and so critical of the fact that you haven't made massive leaps and bounds and progresses in one day or in 1 week. It takes time. Keep chipping away and it'll happen. But this weekend, enjoy yourselves, stay healthy, maybe enjoy the boxing if you're a fan. You know, watch something interesting, read something interesting, get out, breathe some nice air. Eat some healthy food over the weekend. Maybe go and try the weekend without any alcohol. Try and give that a miss and see how you feel on Sunday or Monday. And you might like how you feel and you might move forward. And I don't preach about alcohol. You'll never hear me doing it. I just reiterate now and again that I don't drink alcohol at all. Not because I had a problem with it. It was too easy. It's too easy to enjoy it. And my brain's never been so clear. Like 7 years away from alcohol. And my brain function has improved dramatically. My ability to see things, you know, perceive things, perception, creativity. So, yeah. Yep. It's just a choice. I just don't have any interest in it whatsoever. None. And I feel so much better for it. And had I still been out, you know, having beers and that the way I was, at my age now, I wonder how I would feel. I know for a fact I would be cloudy and hazy, and I would not be anywhere remotely near this version of myself. I just wouldn't. I know that for a fact. I know that even social drinking a couple of times a week, I know the damage it does to everything. To that, most importantly, but to everything else, yeah, it's not anything that's ever going to be in my life again. That's a fact. So there you go, guys. Each to their own. You know, each to their own. Anyway, tomorrow night, about 7 or half 7, I'm going to be doing a live chat on a channel. I'll share the link. We are going to be discussing something that I highlighted a couple of years back in Glasgow, and it went viral, and it resulted in me being on the James English podcast talking about it and numerous other platforms. And I think in total my videos did about 7 million views from memory, and then they were all removed from Facebook and banished from social media from the powers that be. So I'm going to be talking tomorrow night, guys. I'm going to be doing a live about it because it's still there and it's not going away, and it's a big part of my life, and it's something that I do behind the scenes, and I keep it off the channel. So I'll be on and I'll share the link in my community page, and I'll let you know that we're going live tomorrow night, and some of you can check in and have a listen. And it's another aspect to something that I believe passionately in, and something that I'm heavily invested in. And it's about exploitation. It's about the exploitation of children in Scotland, basically. So it's a touchy subject. Not everyone's behind it. Not everyone believes in it and all the rest of it. But it's what I believe in. And I believe in talking about it, and I believe in keeping the spotlight on it. So it means a lot to me. So you'll hear, and you might hear some interesting stuff tomorrow night. It's a very, very complex subject, and it is a rabbit hole when you go down it, and you wouldn't believe the corruption in some of the services and stuff, the social services, the fostering system. It's a very, very dark, deep rabbit hole indeed. Okay, so tomorrow night, if you fancy some of that dark stuff, it's certainly something I will always talk about, but it's certainly not enjoyable to talk about it. It's very taxing on your brain, and it's very damaging to your health. So there you go, guys. Okay. Well, as always, thank you very much for coming on. Got a few people to catch up with. Give a shout out to Jim Smith, who is having a hard time. A good friend of his, Jim. Thinking of you, mate. Thanks, Salt. Cheers, guys. Big Luca, wee Charlie. Cheers for tuning in, Ollies, Susan, Migsy, Bandit, everybody. Very grateful. Brad, Paul B, Jimmy. I'll get a chat tomorrow night, guys, and it'll be straight in at the deep end. It'll be dark matter, what I call dark matter. There'll not be any funnies in it. It's not a comedy sketch. Andrea, good night. I hope you're well, Andrea. It's a pretty dark subject, but it's a big part of my life, and it's something that has consumed me entirely for a few years. So tomorrow night, I'll let you know when. I think about 7 o'clock. Alright, guys. Well, have a nice night. Be safe, whatever you're doing. And stay steady, striving. Susie, night, guys, okay? Frankie, all the best. Cheers, night. Thank you.